good morning, evening, afternoon, night, whatever time it is for you there, ladies and gentlemen. I present to you Boy. The rules of this account are simple. I can assign myself any monster in the game as a target. I cannot kill anything else but that monster until I have cleared its entire collection log. There will be a few exceptions which I will go over shortly, but the main aim is to acquire every single drop a monster has before I can proceed to another. So it's kind of a different spin on loot videos, whereas it isn't I kill X amount of Y and this is what dropped, and more I had to kill X amount of Y so I could get all of Z. So the basic rules of the accounts are as follows. There will be a few exceptions to some of these rules, but I'll explain those in greater detail further into the video. Rule number 1 is you do not talk about, I can lock myself to one monster at a time, and I cannot proceed to another monster until I have collected everything from that monster's drop table. Rule number 2 is there are no restrictions on skilling during a target, so I can take a breather to go and resupply or AFK something if I need to, or return to a previously completed monster to level up combat and gain more supplies. Now this will also apply to questing. I will go further into questing later on in the video. There will be a few exceptions to the quest rule. Rule number 3 is there is no purchasing of items from NPCs. I must get all my upgrades via drops and crafting. So rule number 4 is there will be no trading with other players or the use of the Grand Exchange. This account will follow the rules of Iron Man, including no group kills, except for raids. I decided against making this account an Iron Man directly, as I want to be able to do giveaways with excess uniques from bosses once I complete a boss log. But the rule set obviously applies when it comes to any benefit towards this account's progression. There will be no trading or Grand Exchange to benefit the account, just to benefit my viewers. Rule number 5 is I must attempt to complete every clue scroll that drops within reason, and I cannot open the caskets until I finish killing the monster I'm locked to, so as to not give myself an extra advantage when I'm fighting those monsters. So leveling Slayer with this account is something that's going to be very important, but it's also something that could take a lot of time if a string of bad scenarios happen. So I'll put in a failsafe just in case. So first up, I can't level Slayer while I'm locked to a monster. Obviously task by task I'm going to get the monster and lock myself to it to complete the task and then complete the drop table. However, if there's a reason I can't commit to that monster, either being I'm way too low level or just completely outclassed, I can decide at the start that I'm not going to loot any items from the monster. I'll finish the task and then leave, and then go on to my next task. So I can't pick up any clues or herbs or anything rare from that monster, even if it is like some mega rare that I've skipped out on. Too bad, so sad. I honestly can't think of any monster at the moment that I'd use this on, unless I get very, very unlucky and get like steel dragons when I'm level 20, which I don't think is possible, but that's just an example. So that is really just there as a contingency plan if shit hits the fan for me, but I plan on not using it unless I really have to. Now there may be a huge roadblock when it comes to task only Slayer monsters and bosses, such as Kraken and Cerberus. And there's also monsters that have reduced drop rates on tasks like Wyrms and Basilisk Knights to consider. I feel the best way to handle this task only Slayer monster and bosses is to have them on their own separate lock. That way it's not interfering with any other task, and then me having to try a task hunt to track them down over a long period of time. As for the reduced drop rate monsters, I'm still honestly unsure how to approach this. I could use my previous skip and don't loot rule, but it could still take a long time to get another task. Or I might make a rule that after the task I have to stay for an extra 500 to 1000 kills until I go dry on that item before taking a free pass to continue leveling Slayer. And we'll have to repeat this kill target of 500 to 1000 every single time I get that task if I don't get the rare items. is something I'll be thinking about and might leave it up to the viewers to poll when I do get up to those monsters. Now another big thing to consider is the herb, seed and gem or rare drop tables. As these are usually universal tables, I'm going to choose to skip these drops as part of a monsters collection log and instead acquire them by other methods before being able to loot them from any other monster. So herb and allotment seeds will be behind master farmers and seed packs. Tree seeds will be locked behind birds' nests and seed packs. Herbs will be assigned to chaos druids. The gem drop table will be assigned to Gorax. Any of these that drop outside of the universal table, such as Zulrah's herb and seed drops, will have to be obtained from that respective monster, as they're not part of the universal drop table. So when it comes to mega rares, I'm talking about those 1 in 32,000 drop rate items that you get from Slayer monsters, like your Abyssal Dagger, your Smoldering Stone, or your Dragon Chain Body. I will be leaving these items for their boss variants, so as in the Abyssal Sire, the Thermonuclear Smoke Devil or Cowfight Queen for the Dragon Chain Body, and the Smoldering Stone for Cerberus. That means if they end up dropping from one of their lower level monsters, I'm not allowed to use that item. It's going to be one of those trade-offs for the sake of the account that I'm not sitting at Abyssal Demons for fucking 50,000 kills. Nobody wants to see that. I don't want to do that. But if it does drop, yeah, sucks to be me. I made my decision and I won't be able to use that item unless it's from the Abyssal Sire. So when we consider tertiary drops, to begin with, Champion Scrolls will be linked to a separate challenge later in the series, so for now I'll be putting them to the side. Long and curved bones won't be counted towards the monster's drop table, as they're linked to just people with big bones, so we'll just leave them as are. If we get them, we get them. If we don't, we don't. Pet and jar drops will count. Obviously for their bosses, I'm going to have to get both of those to complete the drop logs. I'm not going to be skipping those. And things like clue scrolls and other miscellaneous items like the looting bags won't be counted, because if you have one stored, you obviously can't get another, and that's just going to be too much hassle to keep track of. Now when it comes to vendors, it's going to be a pretty basic rule. I can't buy anything from vendors with the exception of items I can't acquire elsewhere, such as the Grace for the Graceful set, Void Knight for the Void Knight outfits, Slayer Masters for Slayer tools, etc. I can, however, buy basic items for skilling, such as farming tools, crafting mold, vials of water, though I cannot purchase things like axes and pickaxes. I can use point shops like Nightmare Zone, but I cannot use them to buy supply packs. So quest and achievement diaries. Quests that require special drops, for example the Rag and Bone Mare 1 and 2, they require you to get a drop of a little bone that you have to go polish. Those monsters will not get an exemption for these quests. I will have to clear the entire drop log of those monsters to complete these quests. I should pass most of those in Slayer, but if I haven't, well then I'm going to have to sit there and complete it. The kill requirements for diaries will be given an exemption though, however, as there are quite a lot of them in the hard and elite diaries especially, and for bosses, I can't loot anything they drop if I'm there for the purpose of the diary. So if I get a Magic Fang from Zulrah first kill count, I'm only there for that diary quest, well, sucks to be me, I'm going to have to go get another one later. And quest specific kills such as the Dragons and Dragon Slayer 2 and Gorillas and Monkey Madness 2 will be given an exemption for the purpose of completing that quest, because they're just a monster you have to go kill as part of the quest chain. Now on the subject of dying and any other punishments that may incur, I'm currently not thinking of any real punishments for dying. Given that I can't use a GE to earn money, and this account isn't set as an Iron Man, I'm not going to be benefiting from the half price reclaim fee that Iron Man have. So I think for now that punishment may be enough, but we may revisit this later on if we feel things are getting too stale. Punishment for quitting a target, if it becomes absolutely necessary, may be to relinquish all items from that task and have to get them all again when I return. This will only ever be done under extreme circumstances. I can't think of any on the top of my head, but I want to put this in there just as a precaution in case it does happen. I already have it covered. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There's my proposal for this account. I hope that's got you excited for what's to come. I know I am. So, without any further ado, grab your sword and grab your shield. We're about to go on an epic adventure of death, destruction, and collection. Be sure to like and subscribe to the videos to make sure you don't miss an episode. And I will see you when we begin.